I think we're live. We live, everyone? Yes, we are. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with the news stream, and that is right. We are live on this beautiful May 10th, 2024. I hope everyone's having a phenomenal day, night, afternoon, midnight, wherever you are in the world. I'm certainly having a great day myself. And it is time that we talk about the 2024 presidential election, because from this headline, you can probably tell it's not good news for Democrats, as the DNC is preparing for the worst in Chicago, without the help of the city's mayor. Yep, the comparisons of 1968 continue to grow by the day. I mean, we're not even a month away. We're like 3 or 4 months out from the DNC actually occurring, and they're already worried that there's gonna be riots in Chicago. What a great headline for Democrats. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Like usual, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or just want to support the channel even further, the best way is to send a super chat via, well, the chat. Again, I'll try to read through as much of chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way to get your questions, concerns, or whatever answered. And again, all support's greatly appreciated, and yeah. Alright, everyone. There's a lot of stuff going on. On this Friday, there's a lot of stuff going on, whether it's Jim Jordan doing stuff in Congress, whether it's the DNC about the riots. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, should we talk about the Kari Lake stuff first, the DNC stuff, or Jim Jordan? Chat, what do you guys think? Because I kind of want to start with the DNC stuff, because it's kind of like the big thing. Now, for those that don't know what the hell is going on, there's a lot of comparisons being made to the 1968 Democratic Convention. And for those that live under a rock and have no clue what that is, essentially that's one of the most infamous conventions in history. There were riots, you know, the city was burning, or it wasn't burning, but there were fist fights at the convention floor. It was a shit show. But it appears that we are back to 1968, and that was over the war in Vietnam, kind of some civil rights, but mostly the war in Vietnam. The DNC is worried that they're going to have the same thing in 2024, not because of Vietnam, obviously, but because of the war in Israel. It is dividing the party so much that they're fearing that, well, there could be a riot occurring in Chicago. So let's get into it. Biden's top advisors are all too aware of the ghosts of 1968 may haunt their convention here, but they're grappling with a pair of more urgent and thoroughly modern-day challenges as summer nears. How far can they go in reprising their virtual 2020 convention to mitigate the threat of a disruption inside the arena? And how will they navigate a rookie mayor who unabashedly sympathizes with some protesters? Yeah, you heard that right. It appears they're so worried about a riot breaking out, some kind of fist fight, that they are prepared to make the event virtual again. You can't make this up. Trumpeting the success of their COVID-era convention 4 years ago. Success? You call that a success? 5 people showing up and talking in front of no one, that's a success? Some in Biden's orbit are aggressively pushing to make the 2024 conclave a hybrid production. That would mean in-person speeches from the president, party luminaries, and rising stars to draw television attention, alongside a mix of pre-recorded testimonies and videos from other parts of the country. Yeah. They are prepared to do a virtual convention again. You can't make this up. They're going to use the excuse of, well, there could be violence in the city. That's why we have to do this virtually. What? So you're going to just do the same thing you did 4 years ago, but at least you had the argument of, well, that was because of COVID. You're seriously going to make this a convention event? That's kind of an L, not going to lie. I really wanted to see the chaos unfold. You know, I don't want cities burning, obviously. I'm not saying, you know, I wanted to see violence, but because violence is bad, obviously. I just wanted to see what was going to happen. But apparently, they're already talking about, maybe we should cancel the event, or Not cancel it, just move it to a virtual event. Really? That is lame. Like, that's the lamest thing you could have done. You could have at least moved it. But I guess Chicago spent so much. But if Chicago poured so much money into the event, why would you make it virtual? Aaron Reyes for 2 starts summoning the ghost of Richard J. Daley. That's real. But seriously, if you're not going to just move it, why are you going to make it virtual? Because isn't the whole point of the convention to bring a bunch of money to Chicago because a bunch of people are going to show up? If no one's allowed at the convention, then what's the point of having it in Chicago? I just wanted to see the violence. No, I don't want to see violence, obviously. I just want to see chaos. But I don't get how you can just do this and say, oh yeah, we can't move it from Chicago because Chicago poured God knows how much money into getting the convention, but they're gonna do it virtually? So what's the point? What's the point of doing the event if you're not gonna even be there? If you're not gonna allow people in, what's the point? Seriously, chat, does anyone know, like, why? What's the point of having it in Chicago? Just do it in Delaware again. If you're so worried about, you know, a protest breaking out, just move it to Delaware or even the White House. Joker moment. Donald Trump will be the next Ronald Reagan. Maybe. Well, the Reagan comparisons, I would say it's more so like Nixon or, having a brain fart. Who was the guy that won the 80s and 90s? I can't remember. The guy that, won 2 non-consecutive terms. I completely forgot. Let's see here. Grover Cleveland. Yeah, I kind of like had a Biden moment. Yeah, so it was, Grover Cleveland. He's gonna be the next Grover Cleveland. I think he really is. It's getting so bad that they have to cancel the event in Chicago. Lord Rhino for 2. Summer of Love 2 going soon. Yeah. Coming soon. Yeah. The Summer of Love 2 is gonna be a shit show. Yeah, thanks, chat, for saying Grover Cleveland. I had a brain fart. I was like, wait, I know it's a city. He's named after a city. Which one is it? It's Grover Cleveland, yeah. 50 Shades of Nixon. Yeah, so I just find it hilarious that Chicago spent how much money? Does anyone know the answer of this? Like, how much money did Chicago spend in getting the convention? Let's check. How much money did Chicago spend for the DNC convention? Because it was some crazy amount. Yeah, so apparently they spent tens of millions of dollars on this. So at this point, it's like, why just make it virtual? You're gonna have to do it because the city of Chicago needs that money. That's kind of the theory. 7.28 quadrillion. It's not, obviously it's not that, but they push a bunch of money, I know, because they were trying to get it in Chicago. Because the idea is like, okay, if a bunch of people from out of state are going to go to Chicago for the convention, theoretically local businesses are going to make money. That's the idea. Chicago's going to need to add an extra star to their flag after this. Yeah. Wrap, the conventions had divided initially as a party as it was in 1968. Or hold on. Divided internally as a party as it was in 68. Even if it's virtual, how bad would it be for the Dems? If there's a fist fight like right outside the convention, you know, center, yeah, that's not good. That might be DEFCON 1. Like, they have it virtual, but there's like 100,000 people just outside the convention. Like, I do wonder how many people are going to show up. If it's virtual, what's stopping them from just going right outside the convention center and just protesting? Because they're going to show up either way. There's going to be a bunch of people that are going to cause a lot of chaos. Is a DNC going to happen? It sounds like it, but they want to do it like COVID, where it's virtual and no one's there. So it's not really a convention, it's just Biden speaking in front of no one. AKA an average rally for him, but still. Godsmack Air 69 for 5. It's a damn shame that no labels party went down the pooper. I wanted to see those fence-sitting losers run Will Turd for president. Yeah. it's kind of sad that no labels fell apart, but the reality is they were trying to run someone that hurt Trump, and their polling numbers, yeah, they couldn't find anyone. All their options didn't want to run, or it was going to hurt Biden. So much for that nonpartisan, or I should say, that centrist party. Like, unfreaking believable that you're a centrist party, but you're only going to run if it hurts Trump. Really? You're centrist. Yeah, sure, buddy, sure. It's a bunch of former Democrats. The virtual convention will go as good as Ron DeSantis' announcement, a freaking mess of Tesla proportion. Yeah, it's just like a Zoom call. It like crashes within 5 minutes or something crazy. I mean, it's possible. And I just don't get the idea of making it virtual. Aren't you trying to make it seem like Biden has support? Like, I know there can be protesters there, but at the bare minimum, have like 500 people show up, like the delegates or something, that just cheer him on, like, yeah, you're destroying this country, we support you. Rob, what's another city where a DNC can experience chaos? I'm thinking Detroit or San Francisco. Detroit, nah. Well, I guess with Dearborn being right next to Detroit, maybe. But San Francisco, yeah, Portland would be a shit show. Same thing with Seattle. I'm a centrist because I only agree with Democrats 90% of the time. If Biden is on the ballot in Ohio, we will win Ohio first and Brown is then on arrival. I don't think we're going to win Ohio. Well, what district is Ohio first? Is that the Cincy district? Then maybe. If Biden's off the ballot, Democrat turnout's going to be crap. So it's possible. Move it to Dearborn, Michigan. Yeah, you want to see an actual riot breakout? Yeah, that's not going to be fun. Move to Portland. The only place I could see being worse is Portland, Minneapolis, Seattle, and Dearborn. I guess Detroit, but I don't know. Because Detroit is right next to Dearborn, so I guess it would count. Summer of Love. Move to Columbia University. Just do it in front of the White House, like Trump did. I know they kind of didn't, but it was in front of the White House. Yeah, what am I talking about? Just do it in front of the White House. And have like 50 people show up to cheer you on, your average rally. I wish Trump was at base as the propaganda makes him out to be. I wish he was too. People make it sound like Trump's some far-right dude. It's like, he's not. You're making him sound cooler than he really is. Again, he's awesome, but like, they make it sound like he's gonna be like a Christian nationalist. He's gonna deport, well, he might deport a lot of illegals, but they make it sound like he wants to ban all immigration. He's starting to get to that point, but not there yet. Imagine Trump had the RNC in New York City. Nah. Milwaukee made the most sense. Move it to Madison. No. Absolutely not. Yeah, Madison's another one that they had the DNC at. It would be a shit show. Move the DNC to Austin. You get a bunch of truckers honking at Biden saying Trump 4 more years. Yeah. Austin would be a crapshoot for Biden, too. It's a lot of cities. Now I think about it, yeah, you got Austin you can't do it in. Minneapolis you can't. Chicago. Madison. Detroit, again, Dearborn, I guess, but I would say if it was Ann Arbor, it'd be more chaotic. Portland, San Francisco, a lot of options. I wish the Republican parties would exist in the mind of resist liberals. Yeah, they think it's like some super conservative party. It's really not. It's just like a bunch of like boomers. That's a Republican Party right now. RNC should have been done in Michigan. Nah. Wisconsin made the most sense. It made the most sense after the Democrats screwed over the state. After the fiasco in 2020. Philadelphia? For Republicans? I mean, that would make sense too. Also for Democrats. But they did it in 2016. The drag report for 5. Enough of having rallies in big cities. Rural America's forgotten. RNC needs to happen in a place like Loomis, Michigan. Well, here's the thing, though. Republicans do a lot of rallies in rural areas. Trump does, at least. I should say, some rallies, yeah, are in the middle of nowhere, but he hasn't really done that many rallies in, say, Milwaukee. He's done them in Waukesha, but not the city of Milwaukee. He hasn't done many in New York City. He's going to do a couple. Same thing in Philly, Pittsburgh. I think he did one at Columbus, maybe, or Cleveland. But it makes sense for Republicans to campaign in these areas. These are more Democrat regions that Republicans can win over. There's a bunch of voters that are sick of Democrats. RNC in Portland. No. Hell no to that. Convention should have been in Charlotte, North Carolina. I just think Wisconsin made the most sense. It's one of the closest swing states, and Milwaukee's a part of the state that you can win over a bunch of voters. I think it made perfect sense. They replaced their encampments on the delegate floor. Oh, yeah. They're going to try, but if they're not there, if it's not a in-person event, they're going to do it outside. I don't think smaller cities can handle a few thousand people all congregating in one place for several days. Yeah, that's why it's like they can't have the Super Bowl in Green Bay. There's not enough hotels and all that. It just, some of these cities cannot handle it. They cannot handle an RNC style of event. Or like a DNC thing. That's why you're never going to see one in, say, what's like a smaller city? I guess Columbus, Ohio is a good example. Like, it's a city, but I just don't think it would be able to handle a convention. Rob, what's your opinion on Barron Trump as a delegate for Florida, the RNC this year? Apparently that was fake, or at least he declined it. It would have been funny, but I think it made sense just to not get involved. Just wait. Just wait for Barron Trump. Like, 10 years from now, we'll talk about it. But right now, nah. Gary, Indiana. Nah. Orlando, yeah. Des Moines? Yeah, that's another one. You know, cities like that, you can't just hold a convention there. You just can't. With the tens of thousands of people showing up, yeah, no, it's not going to work. Phoenix, Arizona's huge. Appleton, Oshkosh, etc. Yeah, it's cities like that. You know, they have, you know, maybe like 60 to 100,000 people, maybe a bit more, but they just can't handle much more. Like, they can't handle 50,000 people just showing up all at once. If the DNC wants to be safe this election, they might want to move their convention to the suburbs like Lake County or something like that. I just don't think there's any convention centers. That's their problem. That's why they did it in Chicago. I don't think they really wanted to. They probably would have preferred to do it in, like you said, like in Lake County, like just outside the city. But are there any serious convention centers? I can't think of any. Barron Trump will be the next Caesar. True. You think Portland would be a viable host for a convention? That's one of those cities where I think it's kind of like right on the, it's like 50-50, I would say. DNC in Kiev. Yeah, they should. Yeah, and so, do the RNC for freaking Mitt Romney and Mitch McConnell at Kiev. Yeah, go ahead. DNC in Gaza. All right. So either way, it's kind of funny to see that, you know, the DNC might be virtual after Chicago, like, bankrupted themselves trying to get this event. So what's the point? Just move it. Move it to, like, I don't know, Detroit. That would be a disaster. Or hell, even a city like Grand Rapids would make sense. But that might be a bit too small. I don't know. The Sandwich Man for 2. Should Trump do a rally in Washington just for the heck of it? I think he should. Do a rally for Joe Kent. I think that makes sense, but that's about it. DNC at Richmond. But yeah, I think a Washington rally, you just do it for Kent. And be done with it. DNC in East Palestine. True. That day will be the only day police care about what goes on in Chicago. Yeah, but to be fair, it is a little bit different because the president's there. And I know, I'm not defending it, but obviously when the president of the United States is in a city, the police is going to be more on edge. You know, you're going to have Secret Service there. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. Trump should host a rally right next to the DNC. He should. That's actually a funny idea. Just like right in the streets of Chicago, just do a rally to like rile up the crowds. Not actually, you know, don't start a riot, but it would be funny. DNC in Baltimore. Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. The Dragon Report for 2. Which party would better handle the zombie apocalypse? I would say the Republicans because at least they support guns. Yeah, I would say the Republican Party. DNC in Denver. Well, they did it a couple years ago. I think it was 2008. They did it the DNC in Denver. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Surely. The Richmond north of Richmond, or the rich men north of Richmond met in Richmond and the suburbans cheered. That's a mouthful. Oh, Trump does rally for Kent in Vancouver. I'd totally go. Yeah, he should do a rally in Washington. I agree with that. Just for Kent, just one rally. And hell, you can even do it for DeRaymer, since you're in the area. A rally next to the Madhouse on Madison would be funny. Oh gosh, no. That would not be fun. As long as Trump is on the trial, I don't think that Biden can be DOA even with 1968-style riots. This election will be close because both guys are hated beyond belief. Well, the problem is, Trump's hatred has reached a point of, okay, we get it. For 10 years, Trump is the orange man. He's the bad guy. We've known this for 10 years. We're kind of hitting a plateau. In fact, Trump's numbers have gone up, favorability-wise. Biden's is just in free fall. No matter what he does, he's pissing off people. Whether it's what he did today, which you could argue is an impeachable offense, and I can actually bring this up because we do got breaking news, everyone. We got breaking news from Congressman Kari Mills, one of the best congressmen in the House of Representatives. We got some breaking news. Let's find it. Here it is. Okay. We do got breaking news out of the state of Florida, or I should say from Kari Mills, Congressman Kari Mills of the state of Florida. Breaking. This is his quote. It's a very clear the violation by President Biden and his abuse of power to withhold congressionally appropriated funds for Israel in exchange for political favor. He is doing this because of the 13% of uncommitted voters in Michigan, where he now trails President Trump. He's doing this to buy votes of the pro-Hamas protesters on college campuses. This is a clear violation of his duties. I will move forward with my filed articles of impeachment and ask Speaker and our colleagues to join me. Yep. This is official. Kari Mills will file articles of impeachment against Biden for his recent actions. And for those that don't know, he's basically doing the same thing they impeached Trump for, but in a more egregious sense. Kari Mills follows me. So, for those that don't know what's happening, Biden is withholding money to Israel to appease the protesters. But that's money that Congress, they appropriated towards Israel. You may not support it, but he's refusing to give it. In fact, it's a much more egregious case than Trump, because with Biden, you can clearly tell he's doing it because he's losing in the polls. He's doing this because of political reasons. So this is a legitimate articles of impeachment that Kari Mills is filing. Now, does this mean it's going to go anywhere? I don't know. But if we can actually vote on the articles of impeachment and just give like one or two Democrats a vote for it, that would be hilarious. It's not going to happen, but the war in Israel, this might force some Democrats to make a decision. Either they agree that, hey, Biden misused the funds that was meant for Israel, our greatest ally, on purpose for political reasons. Or they're saying, actually, that's a good thing. But then look like complete hypocrites. Which they are, obviously. But this could be the one thing that gets Biden at least impeached. That doesn't mean removed, but if just a couple Democrats agree, you know what? He's right. You know, this is wrong. This is illegal. And this is someone like Henry Cuellar could pull something as a FU to Biden. Like someone said in chat. Yeah. Cuellar says fuck you and votes to impeach. He's one of those people that would do that. Hope he does. Just like one final vote as he gets like thrown in jail. He just votes to impeach him. Stephen Howard for 10. I read a tweet that said due to youth disinterest, there will be fewer Biden volunteers and less get out the vote efforts, and that this could cost them the election. Do you think this will be a significant factor? Yes. This is the reason I think Trump's the favorite, despite just ignoring the polls, ignoring everything. Biden needed arguably the greatest get out the vote operation in history. He needed everything to go right, and he barely won. Now, you have a bunch of voters not interested in helping his campaign. They're not enthusiastic. That's his biggest problem. These people that were like, yeah, we gotta get rid of Orange Man, they're like, I might vote for him, but I'm not gonna, donate, I'm not gonna volunteer. Even if it's just like 10% less volunteers, 10% less. That's a significant chunk. He needs a get out the vote operation to win, and that everything went right for him in 2020, and he still barely won. He needs these voters. I should say these volunteers, and they're not enthusiastic for the guy. Santos/Queer for president. I agree. Lord Rhino for 5. Finally a rep with some balls trying to impeach Trump Biden. What he has done was way worse than what they claim Trump did. Yeah. And this is a legitimate thing. This isn't, the Hunter Biden stuff, which I think's awful. But I wish you could impeach him for it, but the problem is the GOP fumbled it so badly. Like frickin' Comer and Jim Jordan. They screwed up so badly, mostly James Comer, but they screwed up so badly that the impeachment for Biden on this issue is not possible now. Here's something you can impeach him for. And you can use the same argument that was used 4 years ago that they used against Trump. It's the exact same thing. And I'm glad Corey Mills had the balls to say, you know what, let's try this. Let's move forward with the articles of impeachment. I think he should. Listen, it's might as well, one of those things to try. It is an impeachable offense, according to Democrats. Let's try it. Let's see here. I am broadly anti-war for Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Palestine, just for the sake of people not dying, but Biden is withholding lethal aid for politics. Biden's just as bad as John Bolton. Yeah. Listen, I want the war in Russia and Ukraine to end, and yes, I support Israel, but you don't want all these civilians dying. But what he's doing, this isn't like with Ukraine in 2019 where the withhold funds, they claimed it was because the Hunter Biden stuff. That's not true. You can look more into the details. It wasn't. Hell, Zelensky defended Trump. It wasn't about that. But even then, it's like, it wasn't during a war. An active war where a bunch of people were dying. Yes, you had the parts of Ukraine that was in a civil war. I understand that. The eastern parts of it, the Donbass. But either way, it wasn't an active war with Russia. Now you have an active war between Israel and Hamas that basically the entirety of Congress supported in funding. And I'm going to withhold the aid because, Israel did something that pissed off his voters? This is the biggest fear of what Biden's administration is doing that I'm worried about. His presidency is dictated off of polling. Name another president that does that decides every single one of his policy decisions, not based off of his actual beliefs, but based off of polling. Seriously, name one. And again, it's one thing to pivot, but another thing to just completely, flip-flop on the issue based on the polling. What, 1 week it's pro-Israel, the next week it's pro-Palestine. Sam answer for 2. The 2020 RNC is going to be in Houston. Why? I don't know. Is that true? I really don't know. Biden will get a trial in the Senate. Oh yeah, he won't, but just try it. Just get 1 or 2 Democrats to vote in support of it, and then, according to Alan Lichtman, the 13 keys will flip to Trump. According to him. If they get a couple Democrats to vote for impeachment, according to him, that's enough for the scandal key to flip. So therefore it would help Trump, I guess. But I think this is the one issue you can go after Biden for, and I think it makes sense. Let's see here. Merkel did, but she was a very skilled politician. Yeah, but that's German politics. I'm talking about like American politics, not German. I wonder what Queer thinks about Armenia. I don't want to know either. I don't want to know. Let's see. Rap. The Biden people will be like democracy based on what the polls say. Yeah, sure. You get to then at that point you just get some bullshit pollster in charge, and they can make whoever they want up. They could just say 1 week, well, actually, 95% of Americans support war with Russia. And then he declares war on Russia. That's a problem with that strategy. Make them put a trial in the Senate. Get guys like Tester Brown to save Biden and then watch him crash in November. Yeah. It's a smart move. This is one of those things where you could get Biden on. Just get a couple Democrats to support it, and you're good. What will the social unrest key would that flip? It's going to flip. According to him, it's about to. So, Either the Dems will have to impeach their favorite man or be called hypocrites. Yeah, because they support Israel, or they're supposedly supporting Israel, but they vote against supporting them. I don't know how you thought 9/11 hurt Bush, but Afghanistan withdrawal doesn't hurt Biden. Yeah, it's stuff like that, you know. That's why the 13 keys I'm not even that big of a fan of. Because, like, you could argue 9/11, which, you know, that helped Biden or Bush win re-election. That's just a fact. His approval ratings went up to freaking, I mean, it was what, 95% at one point? That's why the 13 keys, that doesn't make any sense. How that would be a defeat for Bush, even though by every metric, that saved his re-election chances. That's a fact. Wrap opinions on Trump 2028. No. Trump should not run again. If he loses, he's done. He's going to go to jail. He should not run again. And I don't think he will. Lichtman thinks a long and short-term economy are perfect, so yeah, I mean, he gets stuff like that. That's why the 13 keys are they're just bad. Lichtman will make a new reason to not change it. Watch. Yeah, he will. He'll claim that, actually the impeachment happened, but it was over a popular war, or a popular decision, or some bullshit like that. Some Republicans will drop the ball like Mike Rounds and Susan Collins. Well, yeah, but just make Democrats save Biden. Like, you could argue that Susan Collins is in Maine. Doesn't really matter. Alright. So, should we talk about the Arizona stuff? Because, or Jim Jordan. Let's start with, yeah. Let's actually go talk about Kari Lake, because this is starting to get pretty bad. Kari Lake keeps giving Republicans new reason to worry. Listen, I support Kari Lake. She's our only realistic option. Mark Lamb is not winning the primary. But this campaign, the past month, has been a shit show. An absolute shit show that I cannot believe is real. Not as bad as the Holiday campaign, that's for sure, but that's not really saying much. National Republicans embraced Kari Lake's Arizona Senate bid, reasoning she was likely to win the primary with or without their support. Now they are confronted with the consequence of having a MAGA lightning rod as their nominee in one of the most competitive states in the country. And some GOP leaders are undecided about just how much support to offer her in the general election, given ample opportunities elsewhere to pick up Senate seats. Oh yeah, like Pennsylvania, sure. Spend $500 million on Pennsylvania, but don't give a dime on Arizona. Which, again, I'm not saying Lake is going to win, but it's a state Trump barely lost. Why the hell would you not invest at least a little bit? Like, just invest $10 million or something? Lake has not managed a clean pivot from her hard right roots. In the past month alone, she publicly waffled on her opposition to Arizona's total abortion ban and returned to the flame-throwing rhetoric of her last run, when she urged voters to strap on a Glock to prepare for 2024. Oh, good lord. She said that? Are you shitting me with this? Is this real? Nah. This can't be real. It is. Let me pull this up. I did not hear about this till now. Yep, NBC News. Kari Lake suggests supporters strap on a Glock to be ready for 2024. Bro, what? Why would you say this? What? You could have said so many things. Hold on. We need to send people to Washington, D.C. that the swamp does not want there. Lake said towards the end of a Sunday speech to a crowd of Arizonians in Mojave County. And I can think of a couple people they don't want there. First on the list is Trump. Second is Kari Lake. They can't blackmail me, blah, blah, blah. Where does she say that? Here it is. For the next 6 months, are going to be difficult. If you're not ready for action, I have a feeling with as many veterans and former law enforcement, active law enforcement, Lake paused to ask for a show of hands. You guys are ready for it. Lake said to her supporters, it's going to be crazy run the next 6 months. This is the moment we have to save our country. Where does it say it? Oh, right here. Told supporters they could strap on a Glock to be prepared for the intensive of the 2024 campaign and urge military law enforcement veterans to be ready. Good freaking lord. What is this? Why the hell would you say this at a rally? Strap on a Glock? What? Unfreaking believable. Like, you could have said so many things like, oh, this could be an intense election, be prepared for it, volunteer, we gotta save America. You could have said anything. And this is what you decide to say. Bro. Just unbelievable. And now it's like, why would, like, now, if violence does occur, hopefully it doesn't. No one should ask for it. They're going to do the same thing to Lake as they did to Trump. But with Trump, he didn't say anything. But here, they're going to use this as an excuse to say, she's calling for violence. Quick. We got to get her off the ballot. Is it too late to make Mark Lamb the nominee? Maybe. I mean, he's still running for whatever reason. When you don't really have a core belief in anything, you're willing to take whatever position you think is politically expedient at the moment, you end up getting caught between a rock and a hard place before too long. Matt Stillman said. Who gives a shit about him? National money will be solely needed as Lake is staring down an already massive financial disadvantage in her battle against Ruben Gallego. Lake's campaign expressed confidence in their standing. What the hell is this? So, National GOP Republicans, they're going to use this as an excuse not to give her a dime. That's her fault. That's her freaking fault for saying this. Why? Just don't say that. Would make Blake Master be a better candidate than Lake? Yes. Because, yeah, he lost a couple years ago, but, well, so did Lake, but at least with Master, he learned from his mistakes, and he's not going to say stupid stuff like this. They're not going to give her a dime now because she couldn't keep her mouth shut. She was doing so fine for freaking 3 months, or more like 4 months at this point. But the past 2 to 3 months has been a disaster for this campaign. The only way I could think Lake can win is if Trump wins Arizona by more than 3.5. At this point, I'm starting to think so. Because you can't say shit like this in Arizona for whatever reason. They don't like this type of stuff. They think, oh, that's bad behavior. I can't vote for this. I gotta vote for the Democrats that are gonna destroy this country. I gotta vote for that. It's just insane. Would you rather have Lake or Hominy as a Senate nominee? Lake. Easily. At this point, I think either Lake's script was sabotage or she has politically lost her good conscience. Yeah, I think it's one of the two. Either the idiots running her campaign are just so incompetent. They have no clue what they're doing. They're just yes men. Or she has just lost touch with reality. I don't know. The abortion stuff alone was bad because it's not like with Trump where he was consistent. He was saying, he might have supported a late-term abortion ban at the federal level, but he was always saying, take it back to the states. We're going to push it back to the states. We got to let the people decide. But Kari Lake took the pro-choice stance. Like, oh, I'm actually pro-choice, and we need to support a woman's right to choose. Hot take. Lake is getting worse with campaigning, and may show more about her that people would not like about her. I'm starting to wonder about that, because her campaign was so good for a couple months, but now it's just falling apart. Arizona rep should flee to Nevada. Well, luckily for us, we still got good Republicans there, but not really saying much. She'll say a 15-point loss is rigged against her. Oh yeah, she will. She'll say that, it's a grand conspiracy. Does Stein have a Senate candidate hold on, what? Or you mean, does the Green Party have a Senate candidate? Excuse me. Because Stein's not running for the Senate, she's running for president, but I think they do. That's just That's Kari Lake's only chance. If the Green Party runs someone and then frickin' Geigo falls off a cliff politically. Lake and Hamada need to host a drinking game and bad speeches. Yeah. One day it's one of the idiots saying something dumb, and the next day it's the other one. She lost me on pro-life. Well, again, she could have just said, leave it to the states. Fine. Like, you're in the Senate, you're not a governor, you don't have to say anything about it. But to openly say, we need to defend the woman's right to choose. But then, suddenly, a week later, you flip-flop on it. It's like, wait, what? Lake has become the warped version of Palin the left likes to think exists. Yeah. Well, Palin did fall off a cliff, but... Rap, she is not trying to sabotage. She generally thinks this is good messaging. I live in Collin County, Texas, and I'm part of a group of old conservative ladies, and they use the same messaging. Of course. I just cannot believe that this is the Arizona Senate campaign we got. We could have gotten... Listen, at this point in time, just run freaking Kimberly Yee at this point. I don't like her, but run somebody else. I guess, Mark Lamb's running... But I'm still hesitant to flip my endorsement because does Mark Lamb have any shot of winning? I don't think so. In 2016 and 2020, every state Trump won also elected a Republican to the Senate as well. Yeah, that's true, but Trump is doing so much better this time around. Republicans are not. That's a key difference. Like, I think a couple Republicans like Hovde has a chance of winning. Obviously, Brown, Shahee. But, I don't know. Don't know. Hey, Rap, remember the live stream when Lake announced her campaign and we all had our hopes up? Sadly, I might believe that all that went down the drain. May the good Lord help Lake. Yeah, it went down the toilet. That was pathetic. After that announcement, it went downhill. No positive since then. Now she's pretending Blake Masters doesn't exist, and now you have the Hamada campaign making shit up. It's Lake's people, by the way. People don't realize that Lake's and Hamada's people are basically the same people. There's some slight differences, but the virtue of the same campaign. Persuade Masters to drop his house race and run for Senate. It's too late for that. Not going to happen. If Lake wanted to say something that lean pro-choice, she could have just said limited abortions with the exception of medical complications. Yeah, just say something. Just say, hey, it's up to the states, but there should be some exemptions. Fine, be done with it. How's Eric Hovde doing in Wisconsin? I think he's running a great campaign. I think he has a chance of winning. Trump scare. How much can Trump carry down ballot Republicans' victory? I think, I think he's going to do good enough where they keep the Senate, or win the Senate and keep the House, but I don't think it's be huge majorities. Alright. Anyway, so Kari Lake's campaign's falling apart. I just cannot believe that this is happening. Her campaign's out of money. And now, yeah, like this says, Lake is raising eyebrows with frequent out-of-state visits to Mar-a-Lago, and Johnson campaigned for other candidates. Listen, going to Mar-a-Lago like once in a while for a fundraiser, that's every candidate does that. Even, I think David McCormick went to Mar-a-Lago from Pennsylvania. But what Lake is doing is what Hamada's doing as well. Going there like daily, harassing Trump for money. It's just insane that she's going there like daily now. It's getting to a point that even Trump's getting annoyed with her. It's like, if you get Trump annoyed with you, you're in deep shit. Rap, have you noticed the schizo candidates are just so happy to be women? That's not necessarily true. There's plenty of schizophrenic candidates, but the notable ones this year are definitely Lake. Let's see. Masters did worse than Lake, not because he was a worse candidate, but because Masters was a much stronger candidate than Hobbs. Or you mean Mark Kelly? Yeah, Mark Kelly was way stronger than Hobbs. That's why. Yeah, Sam Brown's a pretty shit candidate. I heard about that. But can you just imagine, though, like, Kari Lake's campaigning more at Mar-a-Lago than in Arizona. What does that tell you about that campaign? Not as bad as Hamada's campaign, where he's so broke that he needs a give him fake loans to make it seem like his fundraising is better. That's how bad it is. He has to fake his fundraising numbers, which I know candidates, they kind of fudge numbers at times, but how many his campaign is doing is insane. Lake Marjorie Taylor Greene 2020 full schizo ticket. Real. I predicted the past few elections accurately. I predict Biden wins 2024. Yeah, sure. Sure. Our chances could be helped if Cinema endorses Lake over Gallego for being too progressive. Not gonna happen. Cinema is 95% Democrat. She was a part of the Green Party, I think. She's a fake and a fraud. That's a fact. That's why she's not running, because she wasn't gonna win. But she's gonna endorse Gallego eventually, more than likely. She's campaigning in Ohio and Idaho instead of Arizona. Wait, she was in Idaho? Wait, what? Did she campaign in Idaho? What's in Idaho this year? Is there anything happening? Is there even a Senate race? She's campaigning in Ohio. Yeah, I know that, but Idaho I didn't hear about. Why is she in Idaho? Cool, just accept another 4 years of Biden. Okay, sure, buddy, sure. Primary out Simpson. Well, I didn't hear anything about this. Like, why is she in Idaho? There's no reason to be there. Like, she's like campaigning to be Trump's VP still. That's kind of the craziest thing. She's still like trying to be Trump's VP, I think. Because why would you be in Idaho? Why would you be in frickin' Ohio? Like, I guess for Moreno, but still. In Utah? Why? Why Utah? I guess Trent Staggs, but you're running for Arizona Senate seat. You're not running for vice president that I could think of. Unless she's still secretly the front runner for Trump's VP selection, which would not make sense, but I guess it's possible. Now that I say that, you're just going to see like Kari Lake be Trump's VP selection. It's not going to happen, but it would be hilarious. Wrap at this point, let's just support Mark Lamb. The problem is Mark Lamb has no shot in winning. Kari Lake's got the primary lockdown. So I just looked, there's nothing big in Idaho this year. Then what's the point of campaigning there? There's nothing there to campaign on. Why? Alright. Anyways, let's talk about the Jim Jordan stuff, because the Kari Lake stuff is just starting to piss me off. Wrap at this point, I've just read that. Yeah, okay. Let's get the Jim Jordan stuff, because the Kari Lake stuff's just pissing me off. Unfreaking believable. So, Jim Jordan's quiet power play for 2025. Now, to be clear, I am not saying that Jim Jordan is going to be the Speaker of the House. No one is saying that. Not even the article claims that. But it appears that right now, Jim Jordan is quietly campaigning to try to replace Mike Johnson in 2025. Wait a minute, hold on. I think she was there for the Idaho GOP event or something. Okay, but either way, why campaign in Idaho? Why? We have a chance to get a lot of rhinos out of the legislature in Idaho this year. Well, yeah, I understand that, but you're campaigning for Arizona's Senate seat. It's not like, New Mexico, where she like did one event across the state or something. I don't know. It's like right next to Arizona. She went all the way to Idaho, and then Ohio, and then Utah. But alright, so House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan is making stealthy, aggressive moves to position himself to replace Speaker Mike Johnson as party leader in 2025. Many GOP members doubt Johnson will keep the top job, whether or not the party holds a majority. Jordan is a top ally of former President Trump, who would help keep the conference full on MAGA. Jordan probably told colleagues that he would be doing differently than Johnson during the recent fights over foreign aid funding, multiple sources told Axios. The Ohio Republican has been noticed handing out more campaign checks to colleagues, multiple lawmakers told Axios. One GOP lawmaker told Axios that Jordan previously said it was not his job to help vulnerable members. His shift has raised his peers' eyebrows. So it appears that Jim Jordan is making a serious play for the speakership. This is, according to Axios, this is what they're saying. That right now, he's raising some eyebrows of like, hey, you don't usually give money to other candidates, but now this year you suddenly are. And there's rumors that you want to be the next speaker. Jordan has hit the trail for a bevy of Republicans in recent months, including vulnerable Republicans and top allies of former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. The fundraising and campaign for members outside his conservative bubble is a key olive branch from Jordan. Cash helps court support from members, and many are still skeptical of Jordan's leadership bona fides. Many of Jordan's fellow Republicans think he's angling for the minority leader position as a stepping stone to another future speaker bid. Yeah, notice that minority leader. So there's some Republicans thinking that we're not even going to win back the House. I think we do, but that should tell you everything. They're not confident. Not too confident. If they really think that he's going to try to be the minority leader. But it still seems like that Jim Jordan is making a play for the speakership. Jordan's speaker campaign fell flat last fall, and people don't talk about this. Remember the hypocrisy of people back then when they said, oh, 20 Republicans are voting with Democrats to stop Speaker McCarthy. These same bozos said, yeah, the 25 Republicans are working with Democrats to save the Republican majority. These people are complete and total hypocrites. But now it seems like some of them are starting to warm up to the idea of Jordan. Because let's face it, if we're not going to have Speaker Johnson much longer, who has a legitimate shot of being the next speaker? Seriously, Steve Scalise, I don't think so. Kevin Hurd, maybe, but I don't think he wants the job. You know, you're running out of options, and Jim Jordan was the closest to become the next speaker outside of Johnson, or Jim Jordan, excuse me. That's a thing. Like, who else do you got? Because Johnson, it sounds like people thinking he's gone after this term. He's like done, which I think is gonna happen. I agree with that. I think he's done, but we just gotta see. Republicans will barely hold on to the House through the North Carolina and Ohio if Biden isn't on the ballot. Well, not only that, but I think Republicans do a lot better than people expect in New York. Rap, is Jim Jordan good or a rhino? The thing with Jordan is he talks a big game but doesn't do anything. But I would much rather have that than frickin' Johnson. And Jim Jordan got screwed. That was bullshit what happened. For those that don't remember, these 25 bozos that voted against him, they didn't do it for principles. Look this up. It was because Kevin McCarthy was sort of hissy fit, and he was being a jackass, and was saying, nope, not going to give you anything. We're not going to support you no matter what. You could give us $500 billion in Ukraine aid. Nope, we're not going to give you anything. I would like Mark Green, but sadly that doesn't happen without a more conservative House. Yeah, Mark Green, no. It's going to probably be someone like Jim Jordan. Steve Scalise, I don't think has a shot. You know, I'm going to do a poll on this. Who's going to be the next speaker? Who will be the next speaker? Mike Johnson, because I guess there's a chance he can hold on. Jim Jordan. Kevin Hern. Yeah, Kevin Hern. And who's another one? I guess, Tom Emmer. Or no, Steve Scalise, yeah. It's one of these four, I think. I doubt Republicans to hold the House. Even the Senate is a bit shaky, but they're the slight favorites. Well, the thing with the House is the map is much more favorable than people think. That's a thing. Okay, so about majority are saying Jim Jordan will be the next speaker. For a Republican. Not saying, you know, Jeffries has a shot, obviously, but yeah, I think Jim Jordan has the best shot. I'm guessing no speaker ghosts are real. Paul Ryan, no. No one wants Paul Ryan, except Democrats. Santos for speaker. Andy Biggs, nah. There's no way Andy Biggs can be the speaker. Nope. Hakeem. Yeah, well, Hakeem, yeah, obviously if Democrats win, he's been the next speaker. If the majority is large enough, Johnson will remain the speaker. Most House Republicans support Johnson. Well, that's not necessarily true. I think a couple of them don't like him, but they have no other option. If they have a bigger majority, they may just throw him out. It's for Jim Jordan. Assume Republicans hold the House. Yeah, if Republicans hold the House, this is one of these four, I would assume. All right, so the poll is done, and the vast majority said, or I should say a vast majority, but the majority said Jim Jordan, then Mike Johnson, then Steve Scalise, then Kevin Hern. Four most likely people. Mike Collins for speaker. Sadly, Mike Collins kind of bent the knee about his Twitter account. So, thoughts on Derek Evans. Is he running for Congress? Is that the January 6th guy that got arrested? If Republicans lose the Senate with the map they have this year, they deserve to lose everything going forward. Yeah, if they lose this year, they're done. Rap, then elect right say that Jim Jordan came some big tech. Oh yeah, that's his biggest problem, big tech. Like, he talks big game about everything, but his problem is he doesn't do anything. But big tech is like his black eye. It's not good. Tyrone for speaker. That's real. If Trump becomes POTUS, Jordan's the guy. Yeah, I agree with that. John Boehner for speaker. Remember when, like, who was that voted for him? The guy from Ohio. Who was that the idiot's name? I forgot. Like, he voted for John Boehner. I remember that. But yeah, I think Trump's the president of the United States. If Republicans have a big enough majority, I think it's Jordan. If it's a 1-seat majority, he's screwed. If it's like a 10-seat majority, it'd be enough. Mike Kelly? Yeah, it was like Mike Kelly, I think. That dumbass voted for Mike Boehner. Or John Boehner. I got back from eating dinner. What did Kari Lake say they were so upset about? Oh, let me pull this back up. For those that weren't here for that, Kari Lake, well, this headline says everything. There's more to it, but yeah. Kari Lake suggests that supporters should strap on a Glock to be ready for 2024. And she says other weird stuff. The one event she does in Arizona, her first event in God knows how long. Not fun. Rap, would you have said that Georgia was a bit of a sleeper, unexpected flip for Biden in 2020? I mean, in hindsight, yeah. Or, nah, that's a tricky one. Polling had Trump up slightly. I think it was, like, Trump plus 1 or 2. So maybe. I had Trump winning it, but he barely lost it. So it's not really that, I mean, if it was like a Biden plus 10 state, yeah, it would be a big flip, but with it being like Biden plus 0.2 or whatever it was, I don't know. If I had money to bet on, if I had to bet money on the outcomes, I think Republicans take all three branches of government like they did in 2016. I agree with that just because the map is favorable for Republicans. But that's about it. That's the only reason. Those clowns don't deserve it, but they're going to get it because of Trump. Top the ticket, he just kills everyone politically and saves them. Let's see. Trump was up by a half point in 2020 polling in Georgia. Yeah. I wouldn't really call that a big upset. Hey, Rap, what do you think is the future political trends of the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Riverside counties? I don't really know enough about it. Don't really know. Imagine being so dumb and unconservative you vote for a rhino who's retired from Congress. Yeah, that's how legitimate the anti-Jordan people were. They would rather have John Boehner be speaker. What does that tell you? Tells you that they are incompetent. Absolutely incompetent. They should not be in Congress, but here we are dealing with them to this day. All right. Trump was up by a half point in 2020 polling in Georgia. Yeah, I read that. Susquehanna's not a good pollster. Well, I mean, they can be, but recently they've been off. Which is Biden's most likely to flip in 2020, even if the chances are low, which state? It would have to be, like, North Carolina. That's the only state that makes sense to flip. I mean, Texas ain't flipping. North Carolina was the first one to flip, but that's unlikely. Jewy needs to be concerned for the future post-Trump. He's the only thing keeping them on life support. 2022 and 2023 proves this. Yeah, if it was for Trump, they would have got killed. Absolutely killed the past couple of elections. And they don't understand this, but that's a Republican Party for you. Refuse to accept it. Alright, if anyone got any more super chats, any more questions, concerns, comments, begin sending them now. Last calls for super chats, folks. Last calls. Lee Zeldin for temporary speaker? It's just not going to happen, but I can see it just for the simple fact that, or it's not going to happen, obviously, but I guess it makes sense because he's well-liked, and he saved the House. Like, if it wasn't for him, we probably would not have the majority. That's how big of a deal it was. Best case scenario includes Biden flipping North Carolina, Texas, and Alaska. I wouldn't say Alaska, but I don't know. Florida's gone for Dems. Him thinking he can win is either a sign-up or a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser. There's a bunch of big donors in Florida. That's why. Biden's no shot in Texas or Alaska, even a best-case scenario. I mean, best-case scenario, Trump gets, like, thrown in jail and then, you know, some corruption scandal hits him or something crazy like that. Then theoretically. Grover Cleveland for VP. Honestly, Trump should... he should have his portrait in the White House. In the Oval Office. Right next to him. Grover Cleveland. Very underrated president. It's been proven if not for Zeldin, Republicans wouldn't have won the House. Yeah, Zeldin single-handedly carried the Republicans to victory. If it wasn't for them, well, or him, I should say, yeah, it wouldn't have been pretty. Wouldn't have been pretty at all, but that's the reality of it. Biden, best case, won't flip Texas or Alaska. He's zero chance in both of them. Even North Carolina is a stretch. No, I think a best case scenario, he could win Texas, but that's like everything goes right. But I could see that happening. I just don't see Alaska. I think it's just too Republican. I know it's Alaska we're talking about, but still, it's voted for Trump by 10. Yeah, California GOP, they cooked also, but New York Republicans, they put the team on their back. 100%. Kevin Coolidge for speaker. Rap, was Cleveland a good president? Yes. Very underrated. Trump goes to jail, he wins the presidency. Yeah, but you still don't want to see that happen, because something bad could theoretically occur. Alaska's too libertarian to go Democrat. They went blue once in 1964. Alaska's just Alaska. But they go Democrat down ballot. And for, like, Senate seats. Or, well, yeah, they got Murkowski. Close enough. Close enough. Jeb Bush for speaker. Put Grover Cleveland, Nixon, and Lincoln's portraits next to him. Cleveland and Nixon for the comeback factor, and Lincoln for being the first GOP president. I agree. Who's the most overrated president? I would say JFK. It would JFK or FDR. But I think FDR in recent years is starting to get, you know, less liked. But I would say FDR or JFK. Like, JFK's a good president, but he's not top 5 or whatever. Alright. Last call for super chats, folks. I think we're ending the stream here. If you guys did enjoy this stream, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Alright, folks. Let's see. Rap, Rangers, or Islanders? My NHL team is the Ottawa Senators. That's my team. So I don't have an opinion on that, but Alaska's real ideology is schizo. Yeah, it is. Nixon was innocent. Yes, he was. Rap, what exactly did Cleveland do as president that makes him so good? The economy. And some reforms. Just look up Grover Cleveland's presidency. It's kind of hard to explain, but he did a lot of good. Hamadeh for speaker. No. Not Hamadeh. That would be disaster. Rappers could not confirm. No, I just like the Senators. They were always my team. And we don't have a team in Wisconsin yet. We're probably gonna get one eventually, but the second we get a Wisconsin team, I'm gonna be a Milwaukee fan. But I'm just a Senators fan. That's all. I should say like a diehard fan, but I always like them the most. I don't know why. LBJ was by far the worst. Yeah, he's one of the worst presidents. Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys in the next stream, video, wherever you see me from.